Chris, I heard you sharing an analogy about it's not whether you can go, but whether you can stop.
Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, I could drive on ice, but you probably can't stop on ice. That's the problem that a lot of people would have. And what Savannah brought up about those emergency crews also having to stay safe, I want to apply that to you and your family as well. Now, I know a lot of the kids want to get out and they see the ice and it's slippery, they can go out and have fun on it, but that fun could turn into injuries. If you're out sledding on snow and you fall over, that's pretty powdery snow there. But if you're out and you're trying to slide down hills on ice and you fall, you could crack your head open, you could break a bone, an arm or a leg, and you may not be able to go to the hospital for treatment if the roads are bad. So I want to just folks to hesitate from letting your kids going out and playing in it. I know they're going to want to get outside and do something to get out of the house, but just know that you may have some injuries with that and you won't get to the hospital. Another thing is with that wind blowing tomorrow, and if you're out in the backyard and trees above you have a lot of ice in them, those pieces of ice are going to be falling down on your head, or even tree limbs or trees could be falling on you too. So definitely try to stay in during the brunt of the storm. We have the rain over us now. Temperatures are still in the 40s here at this hour, so this is rain. We don't expect a change over here really for the next couple of hours, maybe closer to 11 o'clock or midnight here in Atlanta. But the changeover is already taking place in parts of northeast Georgia and far north Georgia, where these temperatures are already around freezing. You see some of the pink mixing in. This colder air is coming from the north and east. We have some there in northwest Georgia, but as this colder air comes in from the north and east, all of this moisture is going to come in from the south and also to the west, and that's going to just collide and ride up and over that shallow layer of air, and that's a perfect recipe for some freezing rain that is going to be moving into our area. Melissa Nord joins us right now, and Melissa, we've been talking about all of those different levels of ice and how thick it could be, and you've got some good advice on how to accurately measure that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to see ice on the trees, ice on the power lines, ice on the pretty leaves of the flowers, the camellias that may be blooming. Here's how you actually measure it, though. First, you need something to measure it with. So a ruler, it could be measuring tape, fabric measuring tape. If you've got tape that you measure to put up pictures, you can use any of that. You want to measure the thickest part of the ice, then the thinnest part of the ice, and you take the average. If you remember from math class back in school, the averages, you add them together, you divide by 2. So that's the easiest way to measure how thick your ice is. If you are measuring your ice, we would love your pictures tomorrow as the ice is accumulating, only if it is safe for you to do so. So that way we can give truth to the National Weather Service and over the air of what are we actually seeing out there. Now, the impacts of how much ice you see greatly vary depending on how much ice you're actually getting. Little light glazing of ice, 1/10 of an inch. Get some slick sidewalks. We really don't see power outages at that point. We start to see the outages as the weight of that ice increases. So around 1/4 of an inch, roads become very difficult, and we start to see some of those scattered power outages. Those outages infinitely increase when you get above 1/2 an inch of ice. That becomes a really significant to crippling ice storm, and we do think that could happen in parts of northeast Georgia with over 1/2 an inch of ice. We're talking not just the power out, but trees blocking you in. So it could be a couple of days before a lot of people can get out of their house back into the cities themselves or out of the mountains based on how many trees might come down and power outages we expect there in northeast Georgia. Chris?
And even those small differences in the thickness of that ice makes a huge difference in the weight on the tree too. So here's the timeline we're watching. Colder air coming in from the northeast. There's that moisture. Temperatures at 39 next hour, we think, and then continuing to move up toward the north with that moisture as, look at that, the cold air coming back down. By midnight, we'll be around freezing. We'll start seeing that freezing rain overnight and into tomorrow morning. Some breaks in the rain in the morning hours, and then we start warming up back above freezing around lunchtime and after. And the big question is, will be above freezing long enough, and will it get warm enough to hopefully get rid of some of that ice that's on the ground before this next area of rain moves in?